This is an illustrator in 12-step recovery. I go by the name 12 Drawings. Um, in those in recovery meetings, you'll often hear a prayer spoken called the Serenity Prayer. It wasn't actually originated from the 12-step programs. It came from a theologian named Reinhold Niebuhr. But he wrote it about the same time that Bill Wilson was writing the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. They just weren't related. Um, So it's come into use later as a 12-step prayer. I looked up the words in the Serenity Prayer because I really wanted to understand why this short prayer and very, charmingly simple prayer seemed to have such a power for people's lives who had been so devastated, almost beyond human help, and almost beyond the help of the church or other religious institutions. And yet, when they recited this prayer, it seemed to bring them a certain hope and peace. The prayer goes, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. And so I looked up the word change in a 1934 dictionary. That's when the prayer and the big book were written. Looked it up in a Webster's dictionary. The definition was to alter by substituting something for. I thought that was kind of a funny way to put things, but I could understand. That basically mean to switch. And that does fit with my understanding of the word change. But then I thought about what was my own experience as a know-it-all, hopelessly self-destroying person who, despite the fact that I, quote, know-it-all, didn't know how to stop my downward spiral. And I thought, well, what did I substitute? And I prayed and meditated, and this image appeared in my mind pretty clearly. I'm not saying it was anything magical. I'm just saying that's kind of the way my mind works. After prayer and meditation, it is a little bit like a blank canvas. But anyway, the point is, I saw a candle, and I saw many, many burned matches that, for whatever reason, were not successful or had served a purpose at one time, but now the box is empty. What used to work no longer is working. And yet, if you still need to illuminate your situation, what are you going to do? You're out of your own solution. And I thought, well, there is one other way to set something on fire, and that's simply to go to a window with a magnifying glass and use the sunlight that's freely available through the window and concentrate it on what you're trying to ignite. And as surely as a match will light something on fire, that light streaming through the window will ignite whatever you're aiming the lens at. And I thought, that's not wildly symbolic. That's pretty much literally true. But in order to arrive at this solution, I had to accept that this solution was not working, and I had to get over my own grief, my own anger, that, hey, I've always solved it this way. I'm angry that I can no longer use that old solution. It always worked. How come I can't just use that? And I had to let go of my search for another box of matches, because you can see this room's empty. There's no other source of hope except you see the sunlight on the floor reminding you all the hope you need is streaming into the room from outside of the room, if you will but look for the tool necessary to achieve your goal. So that's what the word change meant to me. I did have to alter by substituting something new for something that was no longer working. You can read more at 12drawings.com. Thanks so much for listening.